Alright, so today is Wednesday, May 12th. It's around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I've been procrastinating all day. I have to take like an hour, or something like that, walk to the library and go charge my stuff. Again, flat broke. So, yeah, this is it's quite the life, that you gotta live when you're fucking trying to get out of this whole stigma of being falsely accused and obviously struggling because of it, right? And that's what it is. There's no there's no getting around it. It is what it is. And in my case, my ex doesn't stop. So, I know there's a lot of people out there that just say, well, why don't you move on? I've tried. I've literally tried to do everything possible. But she doesn't stop. The latest is I'm stalking her. And that was brought to my attention from my brother, who every now and then sees my ex text my mother. And, my mother can't see, so her text words are like this big. So he can see some of the messages. He's seen some of them. And yeah, that's the latest, is that I'm stalking her. I can't even fucking try and live peacefully homeless in the fucking bush without being accused of something. This is what I mean, that people like her, they don't stop. Narcissistic people, they don't fucking give up. They want you dead. When they can't control you anymore, then you're disposable to them. But that's really what I've seen with everything. Is it's bad enough that my ex-wife has erased me from my kids' lives. My kids probably think I'm a piece of shit. I'm a monster. All these bullshit stories that they've heard. But then you got friends and family that they might not even necessarily believe the lies, but they just can't fully understand why you keep fighting, right? Because they're not in your position, they're not in your shoes. And sometimes I understand it and sometimes I just don't. Because if this was their kids, they'd be doing everything possible as well. I just decide to do it with telling people the truth about what goes on within this system. And I started blogging about that as well. So I'll post a link to the blog site that I have. I do have actually ownership of a fatherstruth.ca, but that costs money every month to link the two together. So for now, everything's just on a free Wix site, but I'm able to blog pretty much every day. So I've been trying to keep busy with that, at least keep my mind occupied. And again, like, I've had a lot of time here. I'm pretty much by myself, isolated 95% of the time. And my brother comes around every now and then, but I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks either. And I think, the toll of his shit that he's going through, and then the toll that he's got to sit by and watch all of this happen with my mom. And, my ex, even, like, again, my ex-wife just never stops. She knows my mother's mental capacity. She's mentally ill. She's bipolar, schizophrenic, manic depressive. Plus, she's got all this other shit that's wrong with her, like Crohn's disease, and she's got IBS problems, and fucking, she's an alcoholic as well. She smokes. She's got COPD. Plus, she does cocaine. So, at 65 years old. And this was something that she's been trying to hide from me. And part of the reason why she didn't really want me there this past winter for the few weeks that I was there, because she was hiding that. And I'm always vocal about that shit. So she knows I don't agree with it. She knows that's the reason why that I've always had these issues with her, is because of bullshit like this, especially dealing with her boyfriend, who's now deceased because of it. And I'm sure my ex-wife doesn't know that my mother is a cocaine addict as well. So I'm sure that part of the conversation never happens, right? Well, I'm here to tell you that that's exactly what it is. That's why I'm still in the bush. That's why for the past 3 days, I haven't eaten. I've been eating fucking peanut butter. That's why. Because I can't even entrust in my own mother to do the right thing. But then again, she's mentally ill as well. So she's even telling people she's having mental crisis like episodes. So, but the way that the world is, nobody gives a shit. Just like me, like that's what I'm trying to get at is, despite it all, and despite being falsely accused and then being exonerated after the fucking fight that I had to put in just to be exonerated. You'd think that things would get better, but because I decided to stand up and use my voice and also try and help other people by uniting them and them using their voices, I'm public enemy number one when it comes to the family courts, judges, lawyers, CAS, and our government. This past April, many of you guys know, I held the worldwide rally for family law reform. Some's going to say it's a bust. I'm not. I'm going to say it was a success because I was still there. A good friend of mine who actually didn't want to even be shown at first, shown his support. And, he's in a wheelchair. I pushed him around. He pushed himself around. And, he was there for a good 5 hours that day. He showed up. But there was also many other people that showed up at their courthouses everywhere, all across Ontario, all across Canada, all across the US, all across the UK, Australia. These are the things, though, that the media never shown anybody. And I didn't really talk about because there was so much drama that went behind the scenes with the rally as well. Again, my ex-wife was even involved with that, spying on me through my kids' TikTok accounts, thinking that I'm not going to see that. These people, they might be good, but they don't always think of everything. And, I made a video of that. My kids are going to see that one day, that, their mother used their TikTok accounts to spy on me, to see what I was doing with the rally. She knew exactly when I was going. She texted my mother. This is all information that I've gotten back. It's all the truth. So, these are the constant things that I have to deal with on a daily basis. I already felt erased by the whole process to begin with, right? Then you got friends and family, like I said, that'll erase you. Social media, well, it's been trying to erase me for well over a year now, going on 2 years. Facebook and Instagram, basically nobody sees my posts. TikTok is it's steering into that direction as well. The odd time you'll get a post that'll go, but for the amount of stuff that I've said, for the amount of people that have followed me because of it, they're not even seeing these things now. So and again, I'm only speaking the truth, and these platforms don't like the truth. Same thing with the media. CBC again want to cover up the truth on what a father goes through, but they have no problem talking about these other issues that, especially dealing with feminists and 250 organized feminists trying to ban the term parental alienation from being used in family courts. And their main reason is because they feel that it's sexist, that it goes against mothers and children. Like, what the fuck is going on here? Because this happens on both sides, and we all know that. But this is the divisional tactics that the media will try and portray, and then make people like me look bad because we're bringing it to your attention that this is what's happening. It's a divisional tactic, because you got to give both sides then. Because I do actually agree that there needs to be more support, but not just for mothers and mothers and children, for fathers as well. Why are fathers always excluded? You know, they say that it's going to undermine domestic violence cases. That's not true, because if there's actual evidence of these domestic violence cases, and people need to start actually coming forward on these things in the beginning, instead of waiting, we need to start getting these things out there immediately so that the generations down the road don't have to go through these type of issues. And that's actually what I fight for with my advocacy, is that I don't want to see my kids having to go through anything that I've gone through. Like right now, I'm going to have to make an hour's walk. I haven't eaten in 3 days. I'm going to have to go again, walk, use energy. But I'm sitting in a bush, in a fucking tent, and nobody really seems to care. And CBC refuses to even talk about it. They literally told me that it's not a story that they're going to report on in the near future. But if they change their mind, they'll get back to me, right? Of course. You know, CTV, I'm going to post a video about that as well. And it's about, you know, banning the term parental alienation. You know, you got people out there that are trying to ban a fucking term from being used in the courts now. Like, now we have cancel society happening within the court systems. You can call it whatever you want to call it. We're not even disputing that when we're calling it parental alienation. That's just a term that's being used. It's psychological abuse regardless, no matter what you want to call it. There's psychologists out there that will call it even parental alienation. Another video that I'm going to post later on speaks about that. So you can call it whatever you want to call it. But the fact that you want to dismiss what's actually happening and pretend like it doesn't exist, that's where we have to draw the lines. That's where both sides of the stories need to be told. And we have our CBC media denying access to the public on both sides of the story. Because I can give you that other side of the story, but they refuse to hear it. So, you know, obviously it fires me up. There's going to be a lot of people out there. Again, I get it every day. Oh, he's just an angry dad. Actually, you know what? You are right. I am an angry dad. I'm an angry dad because this should have never happened in the first place. There was perjury straight from the get-go. Everything that I do say, I can back up with documented evidence. So there shouldn't be any worry that this guy's lying. Because everything that I say, I'm going to back it up with evidence. So there's perjury right off the bat. Then there's multiple allegations that follow with no basis, no family history, no police records, no family violence records, none. No CAS ever been called the whole time that I was ever married. But then all of a sudden, because my ex-wife didn't get her way, all of these things just exist now. And our society most times believes these things because it's drama, it creates conflict, it's money, it's fucking ratings. That's the sad part. Because my kids, who live 10 minutes away from where I'm sitting right now, have to go through this every single day. And they're living a fake life. So I don't even know what happens behind the walls of that home because of what's happened over the last 5 years. And that's where I will not stop. My kids are going to know my side of the story, regardless if people are trying to erase me or not, because that is the biggest thing. In today's modern day and age, people hate the fucking truth, because the truth means that you actually have to take accountability for something. You're probably going to have to take accountability that you were wrong. Then you're going to have to take accountability that you judged something or somebody when you shouldn't have. That's all part of it. That's what I don't see happening a lot. And I actually proved that with the rally in April. Because a lot of people they said they were going to show up at their courthouses, whether that had been Parliament or whether that had been their local courthouses, and they chose not to. They chose to let the fear take over. And then they had the audacity to give me excuses when there is no excuse. You're all fighting these same things that you're giving excuses for. So there's no excuse. There is none. We all know the family law system needs to be reformed. It needs to be changed. It needs to be taken down from the ground up and rebuilt. It's not broken. To the people out there that continuously tell other people that the family law system is broken, stop. Because it's not. It is designed to do exactly what it is designed to do. And that's to tear us apart and create profit over conflict. That's what they do. Conflict is going into these systems. Conflict stays arisen in these systems, and we're caught in that fucking trap that you cannot get out of. So, until more people, like myself, stand up to it and don't buy into it and fight for changes in this system, it's going to continue. Your kids are going to go through this. And the questions then you're going to have to ask yourself is, why didn't I do something to stop it? Because these could be questions that your kids are going to ask you in the future. Is with all the reform advocacy that's been going on, why didn't you do something to stop it? Because it's not just me that's out there trying to create reform in the family law system. There's thousands upon thousands that are just like me. Just I decide to take a different approach. Because again, I've tried everything. I've tried to be the nice guy. Being nice gets you fucking trampled all over. And you can still be empathetic, because I do empathize to anybody who goes through this, because you don't deserve it. But you have to stand up for it as well. That is the main key. You know, I'm homeless right now. I don't even know when I'm going to eat next. But I still fight. I still sit in that tent and I still try and write. Writing a book. You know, all of these articles that I'm putting out. It's all going to be based upon the book that I'm releasing. You know, it all blends in together. Even some of the same words. But you got to keep going. That's the main thing, because people like this, they want you to stop. They want you to stop talking about the truth. They want you to give up. They want you fucking broken. They want you depressed. They want you hanging from trees. They want the truth stopped. Don't. Keep going. So that's all I got today. You know, that's just the main thing, is that you just got to keep going. Again, I've been procrastinating all day on going here. It's now 3:30. Got to do it. You know, I don't have the energy to do it, but I got to do it. I got to get my stuff charged. It's the only way. So you got to keep pushing forward no matter what. You know, you fucking fail 20 times, you get up 21. That's just the way that you got to go. And especially these days, because it's hard out there. It really is. Again, you know, this morning I pumped out resumes like crazy. I think I applied for 15 jobs. Part of me going to libraries to do some of these tests. But you know, it's like nothing. It's like that's what I feel like. I literally feel like I'm fucking erased. Like nothing. And people keep telling me, yeah, it's hard out there. It's hard to get a job. Well, no shit. Like, I've been looking at some of the postings, and people want like bachelor's degrees for jobs that are like $15 an hour. Like, the fuck? So, and I do have experience. I do have an education. But it's like still. Again, it's just that feeling of being erased. So, you know, especially with June being, you know, Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, people don't hear about these stories. So, you know, me putting my videos out on YouTube. Maybe one day somebody will look at it and it'll be their survival guide. I know that a lot of people watch my stuff, but they don't necessarily comment. That's fine. It's not easy, but again, I don't want my kids to have to go through this. I know that they're living a false life right now while their father's struggling and dealing still with their mother after, all these years. And, people are going to ask why. I don't know why. I can't answer that question. All I know is that I got to keep going. So I'm going to get out of here, and I'll end up posting this video, and hopefully by tonight that'll get up there. So I appreciate everybody for, watching my stuff. Tune into the blog. Again, I'll post the link in the description of this video. There'll come a day where I can put the two together. I'll be on afatherstruth.ca. But until then, I'll post the blogs on my social media accounts, whether people see them or not. I know that they are being seen. I've been sending them even to the media outlets. Russell Peters is a support of mine. He's kind of become a friend of mine. I've been sending it to him. I even did one blog on him. I suggest people just go to it and check it out. Like these, I don't write for too long. I try and space it out. So it's not like my videos where I can just kind of ramble on, and I'm documenting as well with my videos. So, more documentation, the better down the road. And, especially when dealing with me writing a book, these are things that I can go back on and write about. So again, I appreciate everybody's support. I appreciate Ron for inspiring me really to get going on the book, because we don't know how long we're here. And the other part of it is, like, I got some fucking health shit going on. Psoriasis acting up. It's flaring right now. Like my complete body is fucking a mess. It's itchy as shit, like, all the time. And it's starting to affect me internally as well. And I'm starting to feel some of my organs being affected by it. And again, I'm erased, right? I don't even have a health card, so it's not like I don't even have a family doctor. So I just gotta fucking deal with it. But Ron kind of pushed me to get going on it, because again, we don't know how long we're here for, and I want my kids to know the truth. So he's kind of helped me along the way. Ever since day one, he's had my back. He continues to help me out to this day. He's a firm believer in what I'm doing is the right thing, and it needs to be heard. So Ron, if you're watching this, I appreciate you. And again, you've always been more of a father than my actual father. So that's something that I'll never forget. And part of my book is going to be dedicated to Ron. So just gotta, again, keep moving forward no matter what. So I'm out of here, and I'm gonna try and go get some hot water so I can make a coffee. Everything's been kind of wet around here for the past couple of days too, so I haven't even been able to make a fucking coffee. I didn't even have coffee yesterday at all, and I don't have money. So I got like $1.11 in my account, and it's, I'm always one with numerology and signs, and it's like, it's a sign, man, but it's a sign that I got to do this shit on my own. And that's what I plan on doing with this book, is getting it out there and trying to rebuild some of the things that I've lost. And I have to obviously rebuild these things in order to even try and repair a relationship with my kids, because look what it's gotten me. I'm in a tent. No judge is ever going to give me any type of access in a fucking tent. But look how I've gotten here. Like, it's mind-blowing. I have a hard time even saying it sometimes, because sometimes I just sit back and I'm mind-blown by it. Just mind-blown how this is how it's ended up. But again, got to keep moving on. So that's what I'm going to hope to do with the book is just to try and rebuild, because that's really all I'm trying to do. It's what I've been trying to do this past year since I've been back in Hamilton, is just try and rebuild. And some things you can't, but there are certain things that you definitely can, and you have that choice. And these are my choices right now, is, to try and get as much information out. Again, I'm trying to just really get any job, just to be able to survive. I'm tired of having to really depend on the same people. And it's not that I don't appreciate it, 100% I do, but I need to start doing this on my own, and I just need a little bit of help. So, hopefully, people will be able to actually see what goes on with the person that goes through this, because I'm not just going to be sharing my story within the book. I'm going to be sharing the story of many others that have gone through this. A lot of people I've interviewed, lots of people I've spoken with. I've spoken with thousands over the last 5 years, from all over the world. So I've got stories that are true and they need to be told. And that's what I intend to do. So I'm hoping again to get it done by my birthday, which is August 14th. I'll be turning 45, so I'm hoping, by my 45th, I can at least say that I'm a published author. At least have that. I have done some good things though, still. So that's why, I just got to keep moving forward no matter what. The hunger, the fucking pain, the depression, the thoughts. You got to be strong. You got to keep moving forward. So, all right, I've rambled on enough. I've documented it enough for now. So I'm going to get out of here. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If there's something that really resonated with you with what I said, drop me some comments. This is the only way that, these videos actually get spread, is by people actually commenting. You can post a fucking emoji all you want, or you can do nothing. Emojis, it's not words. Use your words. I don't use an emoji when I speak. I actually just speak. I don't use a heartbroken emoji if I'm heartbroken over something, or I tell people why. That's what we need to do. I don't know why there's so much fear out there, and it's just the easy approach of taking it, just by either doing nothing or using a fucking emoji. Use your words.